A very good morning to you students. I am Manpreet Kaur, your SST teacher. As you all know that every Saturday we are having a revision class. So today we are going to revise day 16 to day 19 of history unit 1. Before starting, I want you all to open your NCERT book, supplementary book, have a notebook and pen or pencil with you. So without wasting much time, let's start.
Here, today we are going to discuss about the administrative policies of the Mughals. In the medieval period, farmers and villagers faced similar problems of paying high taxes. Let us understand the different types of taxes that people paid and the officials who collected them. The officials collecting taxes were a part of the Mughal administrative structure. Now, let us see some who joined Mughal services, what they were called. Can you answer? Yes. The people, those who joined the Mughal services, were called as Mansabdars. Now, Mansabdars included different groups of people such as Iranis, Turanis, and Rajputs. Mughal Mansabdars visited the court every day. Here in the image you can see that the Mughal emperor is sitting in the middle and the rest here are the Mansabdars at the Mughal court. Now let us look the Mansabdars how they received their salaries. Now the Mansabdar received their salaries in the form of land assignments like the Iqtas under the Delhi Sultanate. About Iqtas we have already discussed in the last video. Now these land assignments were known as Jagirs. Here you can see in the map that is Jagir of Lahore, Jagir of Gujarat and Jagir of Mandu. Now let us look it further. Now the Mansabdars had rights over the revenue collected from the Jagir. They earned salaries from this revenue collection only. It's obvious that if we are paying taxes to the government today, then only the government is able to give the salaries to the government employees. Similarly, it was practiced at that time also. Then they maintained a specified number of Sawar or cavalrymen whose salary was paid by the emperor through the Mansabdar. As you can see in the map, then this money was used to pay the warriors. Okay. Then peasant farmers. Now the question arises, how did the revenue come from Jagirs? Its answer is the peasant farmers worked the land to raise crops. They did not use the land for free. The peasants had to pay taxes to the emperor through the zamindars. Then amount of taxes to be collected. Now how it is decided that what amount is to be paid by whom? So the tax on each crop was fixed based on a survey conducted once in every 10 years. Now this system of taxation with different tax rates for different crops in different provinces was known as Zabt. Okay. So one mark question can also be asked to you, what do you mean by Zabt? So you can answer it that it is a taxation system at the time of the Mughal rule. Now let us look further about the Akbar's administrative and religious policies. Now administration under Akbar. As we know, every ruler have different ways of administrating his or her kingdom. Now they also have different ideas on politics and religion. Now let us learn more about administration and religion under the reign of Akbar. Now under Akbar's rule, different officials helped in the administration of the empire. The number one is the Subedar. Now Subedar governed the Subas. Then comes the Diwan. The Diwan looked after the finances. In last video we have already discussed about the Ur, Sabha and old Samantas. So similarly in the Akbar time, what they were the Akbar was the head of the empire, then comes the Subedar and Diwan. Okay, and similarly these were their duties. Then later on comes the Sadar. Sadar looked after religious and charitable matters. The Faujdar was the military commander and Bakshi was the military paymaster. Now Akbar had a keen interest in religion. You all might be knowing by seeing the pictures also based on the Jodha Akbar and all. Now he had discussion on religion in his court at the Ibadat Khan. ठीक है. He also coined the idea of Sul-e-Kul, meaning universal peace, to promote peace and harmony among people. He was a very kind soul and believed in peace and harmony. Now let us look about some of the reasons that were the main cause of the decline of Mughal Empire. Now why did the Mughal Empire decline? Let us look. Number 1 point. The attacks from neighboring rulers drained the resources of the empire and weakened it. It is obvious that if any empire is frequently called by some ruler, then there will be a point that the resources of that empire will drain, or we can say finished at one point of time. Similarly happened with the Mughal Empire also. Now next is the wars of succession that happened after the death of every empire further weakened the empire. As you know that every time when a ruler is dead, then there is a fight among the other their relatives that we will be having the throne this time, and so it creates a feeling of dividend among the people of the empire themselves. Next, as the powers of the Mughal emperor declined, nobles started gaining power in provinces like Hyderabad and Awadh. They slowly emerged as independent, powerful rulers. As the British saw the weakened state of the Mughal Empire, they were motivated to establish their rule. Okay, I think so. The causes of the Mughal Empire declination has been clear to you. Let us look further at some of the questions based from the NCERT exercises. Now let us see who was considered as a foreigner in the past. In the past, a foreigner was a word used for a stranger or any person who was not a part of the society or culture. Similarly, you can take the example that if a person was unknown to the people of another society, culture or region, he was considered a foreigner. Suppose there is some religious practices going on and suddenly a foreigner or a person of other religion come in and sit there, so he will be considered as a foreigner. Next, list some of the technological changes associated with this period. The following changes are associated with this period. Number 1, the Persian wheel in irrigation, the spinning wheel in weaving, firearms in combat. The other question, that is very important question, that lists some of the new crops introduced in the subcontinent during this period. So what are these crops? All of you read: potatoes, chilies, coffee, tea and corn. These were the 5 important crops that were introduced in the subcontinent during this period. Next, what were some of the major religious development during this period? So what are these? New deities like Shivas and Vishnu were worshipped. Kings began building huge temples. The idea of bhakti emerged. New religions like Islam came into the subcontinent. Before the Mughal Empire, the Islam was not existed in the Indian subcontinent, but after the Islam was also introduced in the Indian subcontinent. Next, how were the affairs of Jatis regulated? Now, the affairs of Jatis were regulated by the Jati Panchayat. Jati Panchayat enforced the rules and regulation for members of the Jatis. This is also very important 1 or 2 mark question. Okay students, this was all for the day. I hope that all your doubts regarding the topics that we have covered today are clear to you. Rest, if you are having any problem, you can contact me personally. I will be there for you at any time. And at last I want to say that thank you and have a nice day and happy learning.